sitting there when he was talking. Well, that's even more weird.
I don't know how to turn it off, so we will go.
So we talked on Thursday, and he said, I want like a halftime coach motivational speech. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Do it all the time. Mind you, halftime speeches for me and Coffin, Bell, Shirtless, been there, what have you, halftime's 8 minutes total. A minute and a half to let your kids get into the locker room. And then you want to get them to the floor about a minute and a half before halftime's over. So you're talking 4.5 to 5 minutes tops. That's how the conversation really went at first. I'm like, okay, I got that. And he goes, all right, just, kind of get us ready for the back half of the finish line of the school year. I'm like, all right, I got it. He goes, all right, you got like 30 minutes. Which, to be fair, Dr. Stevens' version of 4 to 5 minutes is about 30 minutes. So that makes sense. It does. So anyway, I'm going to be honest. My mind has been more around tomorrow's pillar talk. And I'm going to try really, really hard. I don't want it. So I love Keene ISD. And I love, so my word for tomorrow is purposeful, intentional. And that's a big part of why I love Keene ISD and the things that we get to do that you can't do at a lot of places. So I'm going to try really hard not to use that. If I do, I'm going to ask for permission for this to count as tomorrow as well. And I was just telling, I don't know if it was Cough, I was just telling somebody, the fact that all of us are here, you have every principal, AP, admin is here, and tomorrow doesn't start, but it's part of one of the busiest times of the year. The spring is nuts. Okay, just on the athletic side, we've got everything going. Testing's going on, just all the things that go with the spring. And when we show up on Tuesday, everything's gonna be fine. And I know that every single one of us at some point in the last 24 to 48, maybe 2 hours ago, has thought of, I really need to be doing this tomorrow. I really need to get this done tomorrow. And we're going to show up on Tuesday and it's going to be fine. And there's not a whole lot of places around us where that's the case. There's probably not a whole lot of places in the state where that's the case. And I think that's a really cool, and it's a comforting thing for me to know, and that we're at a district where it's going to be okay. And a lot of the pressures and a lot of the stress that we have, most of it in our case, is what we are self-inflicting intentionally ourselves. And so, but it's because of your care and stuff for the kids. And when he asked me, I said yes. And then when I found out it was longer than 4.5 minutes, I was like, I'm one of the younger ones, one of the least experienced ones, and I look up to so many people in this group. What can I possibly tell you that you don't already know anyway? And it's tough for me because I can vividly think of things with everybody in here. I'm like, man, that's awesome, that's whatever. And what am I going to tell you that you don't already know? And so I've got 3 areas that I'm gonna go with and touch on that I think, because I love Keene. I think God is in control. I really do. And it's not a secret. 10 years ago, driving by the school when I was not working here, I said, man, I really wish they would add a girls coordinator position. I wish there'd be an opportunity for me to come back. I mean, me and my wife vividly had that conversation. And then I get a phone call and that came up. And I was stressed because it was at a time where I was at Blum where I didn't know how long I wanted to be there. I wanted to move up. Some opportunities came that didn't work out. Some did and then didn't and then did again. And it just wasn't right for our family. And I was stressed out. I was worried. And then I get the phone call 5 years ago. Like he mentioned, had a great opportunity that I thought was best for our family. Show me where to sign. And my daughter, she's like, Dad, I like it here. She was in 6th grade. She's like, I want to be here. I was like, just know if this is what we're doing now, we're not leaving. I mean, we're committed. And she's like, this is where I want to be. Okay. A year later is when Coach Hill left for Godly. I was then able to move up into the role I am now. That would not have happened had about a month earlier, I went ahead and signed on the dotted line. And so a lot of times I've learned, shut up and get out of the way and he'll put you where you need to be. And it's happened so much in my life, and I know to others too. So I think it matters. And we have a very, very special thing here. And so I want to start with, because the best part is the kids. That's why we're in this. Hands down, the kids are the most important thing. I have a story, and I want to try to maybe, Belle, some of you I'm counting on to give me something back here in a minute, so be thinking. But I've got a situation where, when we talk about the neat experiences of our kids, we mentioned in a leadership meeting a while back how something that happened when Maypro came could have been perceived really bad on our school. And instead, we get someone who, Coffin and I don't know his name, we just happen to interact with him, and then he uses his platform and his social media to talk about all the great things that Keene is doing. The week before that, the guy at Grandview who does the radio there talks about how great of a situation Keene is, and all those things, like, speaking in high regards. So the boys played at Maypearl a couple weeks ago. It was just the boys in a district game, and they had a senior, one of their best players, broke his foot in a freak accident. No one around, running down the sideline, no one around. They don't have a trainer there. I see it happen. You could tell right away it's bad. So run over there. A coach from Mildred, who was there scouting, didn't know the kid either, came down, met me. We're helping the kid, whatever. We get him off the floor so they can keep playing. There's a nurse there, and we're in the back, and it's right before halftime. And so around halftime, she's getting ready to walk out, the nurse is, and our boys are coming in. Our varsity boys in a tight, coach, it was a two-point game. So it's a close game in the middle of a battle. And she's there, and she said to Miss Keene, every single one of those varsity boys basketball players from Keene said, "Thank you, ma'am," when they walked through. And she's like, they didn't know me. They didn't even know who I was or where I was from. And they're in a game, and the last thing on their mind, but that was just, she goes, you could tell that was their instinct. They just did it. As soon as the varsity boys game was over, and we won in a close game, it was tight. Looked at the JV guys. They saw that Maypro's kind of cleaning up the gym and started putting chairs up. Every single one of our JV guys came down, grabbed a chair, put it on the rack, started putting it up. And she goes, we don't see that. She goes, I've never noticed it. We don't see that. I wish our kids did it more. And she goes, it was really neat and really refreshing to know that young men are being taught those things and they're acting that way. And she goes, it's on instinct. There was nothing driving them. They weren't forced. There was no one telling them, hey, make sure you do it. They just did it. And those are the kids we have. And the worst problems we deal with, and yes, there are some, it's nothing compared to an everyday situation at a lot of places around us. And we forget that, or maybe we don't even know it because we haven't been in other places. But if you have, you know that's true. And it's easy to take for granted. We have some awesome, awesome kids. And that's I love Keene for a lot of reasons. That is hands down number one, is how awesome our kids really are. And when they know that you care about them a little bit, they don't even ask questions. They just do it because you asked them to. And yes, it's not everybody. There's always going to be those that challenge and stuff. But as a whole, that's what we get to work with every day. And that's pretty awesome. I don't know if anybody else has any stories. Bill, I know I threw you out there a little bit, but or just some outside, just something that to share of hearing something that our kids have done, where somebody's maybe shared it with you or whatever that we can discuss. And maybe not.
No pressure.
No pressure. I mean, it's not a big deal. We get it all the time. How did this is because I already put you on the spot. How'd the watchdog thing go?
Well, that was awesome with Mr. Luis.
Yeah.
He came and spent the day with our kids, and he raved on and on about the teachers and then how the kids were involved, and he was able just to interact with them. He loved it, so we're hoping to grow it from that one experience.
Yeah, and I saw him the other day after the basketball practice, and he could not wait to get on campus to do it because it gives him a chance to experience what we see every day, and just the awesomeness of our kids and the cool things that they're doing. When I got into education, I did not go through student teaching because right out of college, I thought the college coaching route was where I was going. So that's what I did. Right out of college, I had a job at a junior college, thought that's what I was going to do. It was awful. It was a great experience because it taught me what I didn't want to do. I see Coach Hill at the regional tournament. He says, "We got a job, come home." Being just down the road from Godly, I had known Coach Hill as a player. I talked to my wife, said, "Let's go." So came, interviewed with Miss Denning. I will still hold into high regard that I was the first one she ever hired. Yes, absolutely. That's mine. I can claim that. And they gave me a chance. And I thought I was ready to come in. All I was doing was PE and a health class, right? How hard can it be? And so I came in. I was 22, came in to teach PE and health. Thought I was ready. Man, I was going to come in there. Those PE kids, they didn't want to be in there. If they did, they'd have been in athletics, right? Like, they don't want to be in PE, not in high school. So, I was on them. Like, I'm iron fist. I'm going to hammer them about everything. They didn't get in line right, whatever. Like, hey, you don't get lunch for the next 5 days type of stuff. That's fine. Keep it up. It's the next 10 days, whatever. Don't matter. And horrible at my job. Horrible. It was every day was just, and finally I had a rant, and I think it might have been like more of the, you don't get lunch for the next 5 days. Skylar was his name. Wore me out. And Hill came in, he's like, "Look, you got to learn to reach them in a different way. What you're doing is what they want, and it's not going to change. You have to find what they want, and then have that as a way to hold it over their head and bring it back." I'm like, have you seen these kids? They don't want anything. They don't want to be in here at all. He goes, "They do. Find it." Got to a soccer lesson, found out that a lot of the kids, they like soccer. Okay, so now I got that. Hold it over their head. Hey, if y'all keep like this, on Friday we're not doing match play, we're doing something else. We're doing volleyball, because nobody likes volleyball. Let's just be honest with you. They don't. They didn't like volleyball, those kids. I noticed that the class kind of started to get a little better. Then Samuel Gathings came up to me, "Coach, we want to lift." Yeah, no way I'm taking you guys upstairs to lift. A, somebody's going to throw somebody over the top. I know it. B, all that equipment. There ain't no way. They were acting better. All right, let's give it a try. And it was amazing how much better the structure and life got when I was able to find what they enjoyed and had that to use as a guide to take away if needed or whatever. But I was able to reach them and connect with them to the point where, and I don't know if she won't remember this, but to where Miss Denny, I don't know if it was an assistant principal position, she was interviewing somebody and she was showing them around, and walked into the high school gym. And I promise you, if you're an administrator and you walk into the high school gym during PE, you're cringing before you get there because you don't know what it's going to look like. And we had a group, boys and girls, all of them, were running this sprint drill and were like actually working hard at it because they loved the direction that the class had gone and they knew what they were going to get from doing or whatever. And I just remember seeing her walk in. They sat there for 5 minutes. She went to turn out, gave me a little double thumbs up, and walked out. And that right there, that validation that I got from her, was like, okay, then this is what we're supposed to be doing. And it was so much better. So 2 years of doing that, I've got everything figured out. I'm ready for Teacher of the Year. Give me all the stuff. And then year 3 happens. And year 3 was the toughest year of my life in education. We had a couple things happen that neither Texas Tech nor any other major university, I promise you, teaches you and prepares you for during your education blocks. They don't. Not these things. These are life things. And it was tough. In my first 2 years, I got to teach alongside my best friend, still to this day, Ben Kennison. Year 3, he left me. And let's just say the guy that came in, me and him didn't hang out on the weekends, which is fine. You don't always do that. But it didn't help when these things came up. And one in particular was a student who he committed suicide as a freshman in high school. The biggest smile in the world every day. Went to Arkansas, didn't come back. And I remember being at practice at 6 in the morning, and some kids told me, I was like, "That's not funny." They're like, "We're not laughing." Okay, well, let's go to practice. There's no way this is true. And in the gym with the windows, the blinds up, you see people coming in for school around 8 o'clock, and you think, "Oh no, this happened. This is a thing. And as their coach, because I was the JV coach, as their coach, I have to be strong, right? Like I have to be strong. I got to be there. And on the outside, I was. All morning, I think we put them all in the library. They were kind of come and go. Was there all day, all morning. I did my lunchroom duty, and then I had my lunch after. And I remember going to my box, and I guess was your office where Morgan's is now, right? So I go to my box, and I hear Coach Mack and this little voice, "Ma'am, you okay?" "Yes." And she's like, "Liar, come here." Went in and sat down. It took all of 8 seconds for her to break me. And she knew I needed it. And she's like, "I'm going to go cover your class. Stand here till you need to, then come back." And that is going to kind of lead me into tomorrow. I'm not going to get into it, but her ability to read nonverbal meant and stuck with me more than anything. And that's a big part of why being purposeful and being intentional matters to me, is because she recognized the need. She knew. I didn't know. I thought I had it all figured out. She knew that and forced me to come in there, said probably 3 words, and that's all it took, because she knew, and put me in a position where I could do what I needed to do. Did everything I thought I needed to for the kids, but she put me in a position to do what I needed to do, so then I could go back and continue on. And those are things that I'll never forget, and I hope that we all have a Sandy. I do, big time do. And it whenever I got the chance to come back to Keene, yes, I knew how good the girls basketball team was, and I knew the opportunity I had. Every bit of that, of me being excited about coming back, was because of Ms. Denny and getting to work there. And so that leads me into the last part, is if I look around, every principal and every AP, right, has all been promoted from within. Is that right? It is, right? Yeah. Every single one. Ms. Denning promoted from within. Coffin was promoted from within. I was promoted from within. Okay. Step, how are you? Promoted from within. Right. Maribel, is it a promotion, the position, right?
Yes.
That's what we do here. How awesome is it that you get recognized for your work? That's awesome. That you're thought of so highly from the people above you that, hey, when that spot's open, you're the one that has to go there. It's not even a question. You have to be there. And I think that's really, really cool. It's not like that everywhere. It's not. You open it up, oh, we need an outsider, we need this, that, and the other. And it's not that we block out the outside. Again, Step, how are you? Elizabeth, thank you. Welcome.
Oh yeah, we want her.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere. You're inside now.
Steph, we want you to.
But how cool is it that is, you have been recognized from the people above you, that you need to, there's a void that you are the one to fill. And that's something that we can't take lightly. And it's easy to do, because it's also easy to get kind of complacent. Oh, this is just going to happen. I'm going to go. No, it doesn't work like that. Like there's true validation for you being in those spots. And I think that there's a lot of ownership that we need to take, and we do, that we're taking it. And that's what makes our school, and that's what makes our situation so great, is that you're the one that needs to be there to take care of our kids. My challenge for myself with that knowledge, am I doing that to my coaching staff? Am I recognizing them? And maybe I'm recognizing they're not there. Am I giving them the tools that they need to grow to be there? If I leave, or if Coffin leaves, who's the next one? And are we pouring into them to the way that Ms. Denning poured into me and taught me? She didn't teach me how to be a teacher. She taught me how to be a better educator. And by being an educator, it's not the classroom. It's all of the other stuff. It's the accountability, the responsibility, it's the life skills, it's the soft skills. My goodness, the Keene 22 and the house stuff, I'm all for it. If Coffin leaves, I'm going to apply for his job. But those are the things that we have. And to me, that's what makes where we're at so special. And that's what makes it so different. And because I do think we are doing that to our staff, and we are, whether it's our office people or other coaches or whatever. And that's why we can all not be there tomorrow. And our school's going to be just fine on Tuesday when we get back. And I think it's very special. And it starts from the top down with Dr. Stevens, and it does filter down. And I think that's why, I mean, I'm retiring here at Keene. I said it a few years ago when I got that chance. We have our forever home here. I literally bring my family to work here. With bringing in my mom, Jessica's on the school board. She's the Booster Club president. We got a cousin in from Guiler. We've got more that want to, because I think it is the place to be, not in Johnson County, but in Texas. And for a school our size to be able to have the opportunities we do and to have the administrators that we have, I just don't think you can beat it. So I really do look up to everybody. I'm very uncomfortable in front of all of you right now. I really am. I'm a little bit more worried about tomorrow, but I just know that I as a parent, along with being on your leadership team, but as a parent too, I'm very thankful for it. I love Keene ISD, and I'm excited to continue moving forward. So that's what I got.